Look, ain't no faking laughing, there's a reason some people can make it acting. For some reason, it's like negativity makes you like read the comments more. I don't know why. Like you can read see 100 positive things, and then you see that one negative comment, and then it makes you just want to comment back for some reason. But
yeah. I learned that about myself like super early, so now I just like don't fuck with it at all.
Yeah. So okay, I got it. All right, we live or whatever, we filming. I got the one and only Mr. Tom MacDonald himself. Round of applause.
Hey, thanks,
Thank you down for coming down here with the common folk like me, and just having a little conversation and stuff.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So the first thing I wanted to address, because believe it or not, people are people are still saying stuff. The YouTube Cypher Volume 2 dropped, and shout out to Crypt and for getting me on there. And I had said a line in it where I said, if I was black, then so is the strap, brat the Tom, like MacDonald, right? And I didn't think it was going to be taken the way it was taken, but I got a wave of your people coming in like, oh, he dissed, why would you do that? Ah! And they're going crazy. So I just wanted everybody to know that we cool. We good. Like, how did you take any offense to that line?
Yo, man, like I didn't even fucking, like I said, I don't stay posted on the internet like that, so I didn't even see it. And then like a bunch of like fans were like inboxing me like, yo, like Screwface dissed you, like da da da, and I was like, what? Like I was just on the phone with him like a day ago.
Literally 24 hours before that.
I was just talking to him about like distribution and shit, like what the fuck? And then I was like, all right, like whatever. Anyway, so these guys were like, we're just like, yo, Screw this dude, and I was like, impossible. Like, and unless it's like, I mean, I don't know. Maybe he called me like to ask about distro, and it was really just like to get a soundbite or something. Like I was like, I don't know.
That'd be some evil villain shit. Like,
I was like, yo, if that's the way he went about it, I was like, that's cold as fuck. But then like somebody sent me a little clip of it, and I watched it, and I was like, yo, like, you're reaching like so far if like you think but that's just like how it is, man. Like NF drops a song, or like somebody drops a song and they're like, yo, he's dissing Eminem.
That's the craziest thing, because it's crazy that you even brought that up, because once I heard that line and then the NF thing happened, I made a video about that too. It's like the reaching, people want there to be like drama or entertainment no matter what, whether it's with you or without you, because like it's like people are painting narrative to the point, because the lyrics are literally on the bottom of the screen and everything, where it's like I'm clearly shouting you out, but now it's like anytime you say another rapper's name, someone like NF literally didn't even say his name, but they will find a way to be like, this is a diss track, it's beef time, I hate you. And it's like, they're so and it makes me like think like, are people just, because even when they think it's beef, how quickly I see some people wanting to turn. It's like, are you guys just that close to like turning on me at any moment? Like even when you think it's a misunderstanding, like I'm sure go ahead.
That's the nature of the fucking internet, dude. People just like love drama, and it just is what it is, man. Like it's like fucking the internet's like fucking junior high school again or something, It's like
that's the realest shit. Yeah, it's crazy because like I've been doing music for a while and stuff, but like I started getting a little bit of success doing YouTube over this last year, and it seems like with the more success, the more I'm seeing that the only thing that's happening is I'm seeing it become more and more catty. And people who like before were doing stuff for like just the love and stuff are now doing stuff like are expecting things, and if you don't, they're like, it's almost like I feel like people are ready to say you changed because they want to say it. Like it's absolute. Go ahead.
I mean, it's just like, I mean, I get that a lot, bro. Like, just because like when I started out, like a year and a half ago, I was talking a lot of shit about like jewelry and fucking sort of like the content of mainstream rap about like the Xanax shit and just like the encouraging of fucking like low moral standard and just like frivolous spending and shit like that, and like people like really gravitate towards that. And then now it's like a year and a half later, and like I got a bag and fucking, you know, like I went and got a couple chains and I got like
I see you.
okay, like, did some shit, and people get super mad about that. They're like, yo, like you were talking shit about that stuff a year ago and blah 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 blah. And I'm just like, yo, like, bro, I've been broke for 30 years. You know what I mean? Like my last apartment that I lived in, it was like infested with fucking cockroaches and mice and shit. Like this is the first time in my life I ever had any money at all. So it's like, just like let me live my life, man. I just want to go out and like get some nice shit and just feel good about it, and like that's fine. Like as long as I'm not like in every song fucking Gucci Louis belting you to death and fucking and talking about, you know, just the Xanax and shit that I've been against. Like I just like let me fucking live, bro. Like fuck.
People are scared of change. It's like, and it's not even change. It's like evolution. I was just talking to my homie Monfu about this. We were talking about Logic and Logic's new song, like that Icy song with Gucci. And I felt like, I was like, man, I feel like Logic wants to rap about that stuff, like, because it's kind of like an ironic song.
Bro.
Yeah, but I could see he doesn't want to be as ironic as he's being, but I think he's afraid people would be like, oh, he changed. Yeah, or it's like not.
I thought that shit was hard.
Yeah, so I loved it. I like the way that the video was put together was super dope to me. And my biggest gripe with it was like, I can see you want to just be like, yeah, I worked hard for this, so I do want to be icy, but it had to be kind of like ironic and stuff. And that's what I'm seeing with. It's funny though, because even with like just like the YouTube community, because it's like a microcosm of the industry. It's kind of like what the industry is on a smaller scale, but there's even politics in this thing. And you would think when there's no like labels or there's no like people to make us do politics that we wouldn't do politics, but there's politics all over this stuff. And it's like you slowly start learning it and stuff too. And that's why even I got to give you an even bigger shout out for doing this, because there's not many people that I would know that would, you know, just hit me up like this. Like I got like friends that are bigger and stuff like that, but this is like super cool because I don't think this is something that people would even expect you to do. I didn't honestly expect that you would do it, but that's super dope and just shows to how real certain people are in this thing and how you don't really have to. I basically hope people see this and realize that you don't have to fake. You don't have to like diss for clout or do this stuff like that. Like, and I always tell people too, if I diss you, you'll know. It's not gonna be like a subliminal, like did he or didn't he? It'll be like a you know thing, and I'm sure you're the same way. Like especially you, you're very not bite your tongue. You're very just like you'll say it whether good, bad, or ugly. So it's just like I wanted people to know that because I respect that about you.
Thanks, man.
I had done when I did my reaction about I'm not black. That's what I respected the most, and it's funny. And I'm glad I get to tell you this while the camera's rolling. It's funny because I feel like I've been having this conversation with my homie Monfu, and we feel like now ever since I'm not black, it seems like the race conversation is starting to get talked about more, and that's what I was hoping. That's what I said with the record. I was like, that's what I hope with it, because when even I got into my thing with Upchurch or whatever, and it was like a race thing, it was like taboo. Like, don't say anything about racism. So when you came out and you said like what you said, and from your point of view, that's why I literally said the messenger is important, because there's people in your fan base who needed to hear that, and it's literally just like it's spreading, whether you know it or not. In the community, I've seen a lot more people who were never talking about that stuff starting to talk about it.
I think it's like, yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's cool. I think it goes sort of like beyond like my fan base. It's just like we're both musicians. Anybody that's a musician that fucking knows anything about their craft, and I mean, we're both hip-hop artists, so anybody that's in hip-hop knows that like the demographic of hip-hop is like 14 to 19-year-old like white American youth, and like unfortunately like they're not gonna listen to a black rapper say that shit.
Yeah.
And or they might listen to it, but
it's going to be a lot more.
It's not gonna touch them.
Yeah, it's going to be more combative on that side, and I know that for 100%. Like fact, that's not a controversial statement. That's real.
Yeah. As like a white dude, I can say like the first album I ever owned in my life was Tupac, All Eyes on Me.
Yeah.
Bought it at a pawn shop for $5. I never heard Tupac, never really listened to rap. I was a kid. I was like 10 years old.
Yeah.
And I was just like, okay, well, this is a double CD set. I get 2 CDs for $5. I only got $5. This is the move to make. And I listened to those 2 albums for like a year and like fell in love with it and loved hip hop and loved Tupac and loved the whole thing. But like, and as much as I loved it and was into it, like on some level, like how deeply can like a fucking 12-year-old white kid living in the suburbs connect with Tupac, who's talking about life experiences? I have no experience.
Yeah.
You know, I've never dealt with anything like that. And like, unfortunately, it's like kind of painful to say it and like just stupid cliche, and stereotypical, but it is what it is, man. Like fucking years later, like Eminem came out and some kid like put the headphones on my head on the school bus on the way home, and he was like, "Yo, this guy's a white rapper," and I was like, "What?" And I was like, "What?" And I like went and looked it up, and I saw him, and I was like, "Yo, this guy has blonde hair like me. He has blue eyes like me. He has white skin like me. I could do this." That let me know I could do this, and I was touched by somebody that looked like me, sounded like me, speaking their message. So because of that experience, I know like how important it is, or I know the power that I have to connect with my audience. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the demographic of hip hop, I know that there's power in that. So.
And a lot of people were like, cause I was talking about the I'm not black thing, and the reason why it touched me a lot because I had literally dealt with that just before what you're just saying, where it's like the divide comes in where me, the people who look like me, the people who came up like me know certain things through our certain experiences, and then the other side who we're trying to tell, who look like they don't know it with their experience, so it becomes a combative thing, right? The most important thing that you did with what you said, and I saw a lot of people reacting, be like, I don't believe in it. The thing that you did that was the most important, no matter how anybody felt this song, is you said that this problem exists. And believe it or not, that little of a statement literally 180 certain people where they didn't think it was a thing, but coming from you, it's like, oh, whoa, this really does happen. Like, and I watched people who argued with me previously come back and be like, okay, now I kind of understand what you're saying more. And that's why I appreciate it so, like, and I'm sure there's a lot of people like me, like specifically why it hit me, and I was like, this is dope. Like, I champion this song because he's putting his neck on the line, and even if you read the comment section, there's a lot of people who are just going at you for that, but you're putting your neck on the line saying, no, it does exist, and I see it. And it's funny that, you know, with all the other stuff wasn't blocked, and then this was the one that the label wanted to.
Isn't that fucking bizarre?
Now that I hear it, I was just like, because I thought if it was like when I heard it, I was like, oh, wow, that is, I think that's the thing that people are sleeping on about this whole situation. Like, whether you feel about the song, it's like, why was this the one where they're like, no, absolutely not.
That's like exactly how I felt, dude. Like, when I got off that phone call, like, I was out shopping with my girlfriend, and I was like, yo, I just got a call from Distro saying that they're not going to put the song out. And, like, my first thing was, like, they put out fucking White Boy.
Yeah.
They put out Straight White Male.
Yeah.
And this is where they're going to draw the line.
That's
the crazy to me.
And that's when you know that you're ruffling a type of feathers that you might not even know, like, how deep it goes. But hey, it's dope of you to do. It really makes it easier for, like, artists like me to be able. It does make it a little bit more comfortable because there's this weird tension. The tension still exists, and it might even be worse on certain sides. But at least it gives more ammunition or more, like, backing to to people, so we don't have to keep saying. It's more like, well, you'll see. Well, yeah, see, this is the stuff. Or now it's not like you gotta just keep saying it and keep saying it and keep saying it. And I've even seen certain people try to combat it, and I've listened to the arguments, and I've been like, oh, you completely missed the whole point of this song because.
Oh yeah, dude.
Yeah, you completely missed it. So.
Like it's weird, dude. Like some people are like for like they like the song and so some people don't like the song and they completely miss the message. Mm-hmm. Like the weirdest part though is the people that like the song and don't get the message. because there's people that are like, yo, this is like a sarcastic, satirical, like poking fun at like black people being victims. Like that's what this is.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yo, guy, like,
yeah,
like you have to be the deepest type of denial about like, yo, my favorite rapper just made this song that fucking makes me feel shitty, that hurts my feelings or goes against my beliefs. So I have to twist, like I have to distort the message and present it in a way that's digestible to me. So I can still like that guy. Like that's the weirdest part.
That's the part. What those were the most important people to hit, because it's like. Yeah. No, it's not. It's starting to show a lot of people's true colors. It's weird because it's not really like you shot a gun. It's more like you just put a gun in a room and then left it, and then people started using it the way that they were going to use it. And it's like, it's saying a lot about you, and you're like, no. It was a joke because it makes me feel more comfortable, because it's like, nah, that says something about the way you felt about this message, not about this song. Bro. So it's like... Yeah. It's literally like, he left the room with a loaded gun and then we shot each other. So it's like, this is what you were gonna do regardless. Like you just got the power to do it now. So it's like
fully.
Yeah. So hey, like I said, man, thank you so much for taking this time out. I know you sent me a picture of all these flyer or whatever mail he about to send out.
Yeah. Signed 700 albums today. www.hangovergang.com if you want an autographed album.
Hangovergang.com if you want that autographed album. Yeah. And let me get my plug on too. Uppercut featuring Trey Stuckey just dropped. Go check that out. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
And man, thank you for being a real dude. Thank you for taking the time out. Like I said, I appreciate this. If you got anything else to say?
No, fuck it. We covered all the bases. We're cool.
Straight like that. Huh? Tom MacDonald.
Screwface didn't fucking diss me. Get over it.
Get over it, man. Huh? Read the lyrics. Read them. Think them. Digest them. It's okay. It's not illegal to think yet. Not yet.
Yeah, it's coming now.
All right, man. I appreciate it.
Big love, dude. I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, my G.
Peace.
In case y'all didn't believe me or y'all didn't know, the man himself, man.
I'm just saying though. It's like I ain't...
Midwest in the building, big way, huh?
We backstage a little bit, you know what I'm saying? I just have to holler at my boy Jane Jacket real quick, you know what I'm saying? Let him know feelings mutual, you know what I'm saying?
Hey man, this the guy right here, man. Praise this guy right here.
Look who's talking. You know what I'm saying? Pull out that chopper.